Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the recap of RuPaul's Drag Race All Stars 8, Episode 7. I almost said 6, but what's new? Me saying things wrong never knew. It's always been a thing. Today we're going to be talking about the acting challenge of what had happened to Little Pound Cake. Great challenge, so exciting. I'm going to go over all the performances, give my thoughts, feelings, and opinions, and yeah, so let's just get right into it. We're going to go alphabetically through the performances. So let us start with Alexis Michelle's. Now, sadly, Alexis Michelle had the least amount of screen time within the, kind of acting challenge. And sadly, also, she kind of played one of the more like straight man characters in the sketch. I would say her and Candy were kind of like the two that really played it like that. With their roles and stuff because they're like detectives, so like it makes sense that they're kind of more like the more serious and less kind of jokey-esque characters, which can sometimes work for you and it can sometimes not work for you. Like we saw with the Jimbo and Jessica in the like Saturday Night Live parody challenge that they did earlier this season. Like in that sketch with Jessica and Jimbo, Jimbo was the straight man character. She was the more grounded one, yet hers was funnier. So it really just depends on like what the role is in the parts. But I feel like sadly with like a drag race acting challenge, kind of being the straight man character is tends to not work out in people's favors, and sadly, it just not did not work out for Alexis. It felt like she was almost in a different setting than the rest of the sketch was, and so sadly, the scenario just did not really suit her. Getting into the top. Sadly. Next, let us talk about Jessica Wilde. I fucking loved her performance in this. It seems like a lot of people were hit or miss on how well she did. I loved it. The full conversation about the EBT card on a Taco Tuesday really fucking I was cackling. It was so fucking funny because it's the perfect level of like ridiculousness and seriousness because she's like on a Taco Tuesday she would never leave her ETB card. That was weird for me. It's like it, she's saying the most ridiculous shit, but she's saying it so sincerely that it works out perfectly. And I fucking loved her performances. What was her name? Eurodrag? I think it was Eurodrag. Which, like, I don't. These little punny names were kind of weird to me. I was like, okay, it feels kind of like hokey in a sense, but I love Jessica in this. Jimbo played what was it? The Eva Dance, I think, was the character's name. I really think Jimbo made a great choice with this character in giving her the Stinkfinger, as she called it, because this character could have been on the same wavelength as the as Candy's and Alexis's, where because she was like the scientist, she's kind of more like that role already is automatically looking for something a bit more serious than she did. And so by having this kind of gag of her fucking finger being all gross and shit, and also the nice like rack joke she makes later on, I think is what it was. She's like she says she has a nice rack, and then shows the Jimbo breastplate. It really elevated the character to a place higher than I think the expectations were for the character at the start. I think those were great choices made by Jimbo in this. Okay, now let's go over Miss Kahana Montrese. Now, Kahana did a pretty decent job in this challenge. I would say, I mean, in terms of like the acting challenges, which I mean, there's, I guess, we've had two acting, the Snatch Game and the Rusical, I guess, all have some acting elements to them. I guess, well, I guess actually her best performance was the Rusical, I think, even though she's still in the bottom for it. But this one was actually really good too. I actually don't think she should have been in the bottom. I think it should have been Candy and Alexis should have been on the bottom for this. But she played, what was the character's name? I believe it was I'm a Fox. And she did a pretty good job with it. She kind of had to do this kind of like bitchy, and I would have killed her role. And I think she did a good job with it. I do think I think she should have played it up more for sure. But I do think on the levels of you know, her main critique throughout a lot of the season has been like, you gotta allow yourself to be stupid. and this is the challenge she's allowed herself to be the most stupid in. Like, in the very beginning, when she, like, finds the fish in the thing, while they're doing their intros of, like, and I'm a fox was also a part of the lost season. The way she looks at it, it's so ridiculous. I'm like, yes, that is the fucking acting that we need to see from Kahana. That little moment got me together. I was like, oh, okay. She's got this, and and she didn't. I guess she was in the bottom, but she did. I really feel like she did a pretty decent job, and she should not have been in the bottom. But regardless, now Candy Muse is playing Anita Clue, I believe, or is it Anita Clue? Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm also literally just realizing that's fully like I think that's a Mac, and they've covered up the Apple logo with stickers. I'm pretty sure. Look at the computer. I'm 95% sure they fucking did that. That's really funny. Um, and yeah, I think it was Rue who said this critique, which I completely agreed with Candy's performance, which was like, you say you're not a detective, but then you're like in the interrogation room, and like there's like a disconnect there. And that was my main gripe with Candy's performance, is that it kind of felt like there was a disconnect between like what is her actual purpose. Well, like why don't you just make her an actual detective? I feel like that would make more sense. Honestly, just making her an actual detective and her kind of having, I guess maybe her being slightly more like intense due to, the fact that she's like actually a detective and can be like, where's the body? A bit more. I feel like that would have made more sense and would have led to a better character. But sadly, yeah, it just didn't 100% hit with me because she, along with Alexis, those two kind of had the least amount of screen time. Actually, I think her, Alexis, and Jimbo um, all had like similar, amounts. But because they're on the lower end of the screen time, scale, and also were kind of more of like the straight man characters, it just didn't end up working 100% for me with Candy. Now talking about Miss LaLaRi, this picture is so funny to me. I love it. She murdered this challenge. She made it her bitch. I mean, it just the the jokes she was making were so fucking smart on the fly. I loved that. I loved it. Like, to start off and be like, my name is Sharisha Coleman, the Sha is silent, it just immediately gives you the vibe of like, oh, this little character she's playing is like ridiculous, funny, is gonna say what's on her mind, is gonna say things that don't make sense. It just really worked for me. And the way that she ended up doing the makeup, because she almost is kind of going for like more of like a real like a I'm doing air quotes when I say this, like a real woman look. She's not doing as much of like the full like drag beat. She went like slightly, she doesn't have like a cut crease and like a bibbity bop. She's literally just like has like some pink and black on her eyes, and she did a little bit more simplified version of the makeup because she's like acting as like a woman instead of like a drag queen, and it really works. It just worked. She did such a good job. Everything hit. And I'm so happy that LaLaRi won this challenge. And LaLaRi is my winner pick at this point, I feel like. I didn't dislike LaLaRi. There's only a handful of contestants from Drag Race and from different drag reality shows that I dislike. And 99% of them are the people that have done objectively bad things that I do not support. But, like, before this season, I was, like, very neutral towards LaLaRi. I was like, yeah, LaLaRi, she's cool. Like, that was, like, kind of my, like, end of it, personally. But throughout this season, Lala has been hitting everything out of the park for me. And at this point, I feel like it'd be so satisfying if Lala, who, like, had the worst outfit, who okay, arguably the worst outfit in Drag Race history in that bag ball, and ended up, kind of getting all this praise, kind of like having this like feast and famine kind of situation on season 13, to come back and be like, you know what, and I'm gonna succeed here, is just amazing to me. I'm obsessed with her, and I really hope she wins the fucking crown. I would love it. Now, I wanted to get both of them on screen, but this is like the best screenshot I could have fucking got. I also just saw that fucking, like, is that a camera or no, that's a light. That's a light up there. Just like hanging out at the top. Very interesting. But LaLa wins the challenge. I completely agree with that. I feel like it could have been LaLa or Jessica reasonably. At least for me, those were like my two. Um, but LaLa winning makes complete sense to me. The lip sync assassin is Georges. Helotus, it's me, Georges. And they lip sync to About Damn Time by Lizzo, which is a song that has it was going to be a song on Drag Race eventually, and I'm happy that it ended up being one here. And the lip sync was it was good, you know. I was whelmed. Like they both had some decently good stunts that they did. The structure of About Damn Time as a song doesn't 100% lend itself to like doing, you know, the most to it, where like we could see LaLa doing all these like and Jordas doing, you know, all these like high powered, you know, kicks, dips, and tricks. So I think that's what my brain is latching onto is like I think they both actually did a great job for the song, but because we know that they can do more than that, it's slightly disappointing because I wish we got just like a like, you know, like a drag queen kind of staple, you know, a high energy song that they could both just fucking rock it out to. We're not, rock it out is a weird phrase that implies rock. I obviously don't imply rock. I mean, what do I mean? Like a Radio by Beyonce, like George just did, you know, just do it again with the both of them. That would have been perfect for me. But yeah, they both did a great job here. And I do think LaLa won lip sync. I think she was just more consistent. But I don't think Georges did a bad job. I think it's like a 60-40 split kind of situation, at least for me. Kahana Montrese does go home here. This is the first time I just realized that there's a person holding her leg in this picture. I did not realize that till just now looking at it. That is crazy. How did I not notice? What am I doing? Kahana, I'm so happy got to actually like shine on this season with a newfound like sense of confidence and everything. It definitely felt like almost like an Aja run on All Stars, or to me, where you know got a bit over halfway, but really was like you know did not do 100% super well on their original season, but you knew from the moment that you saw them that they had shit to show, but they just weren't there yet. And getting to see Kahana, you know, excel at the you know first challenge of the season, the girl groups challenge, and you know have overall solid performances and challenges like the Rusical and the ball and all these things. It's very nice to see Kahana succeed on Drag Race. I'm so happy we got to, and yeah, she's great. We are now down to 5 contestants left. I said last time it was probably going to be Kahana out next, and then we're going to get to a 5, and I'm not going to be sure exactly what to do unless LaLa or Alexis win the challenge. LaLa won this week's challenge, so my predicted final 4 is going to be Jessica, Jimbo, Candy, and LaLa, with Alexis going home because she does not have a win yet. And next week is a design challenge, which, like, just based off of the contestants, you know, track records and design challenges throughout their Drag Race histories, I would assume that we're gonna get like a Jessica win or a Candy win, and then like you know whoever doesn't, along with Jimbo's gonna be safe, and then like a LaLa Alexis bottom 2 where Alexis goes home. That's my general feeling of what that's probably gonna end up being. But we'll see if that's actually the case. And we still, I think they said the season is like 12 episodes long, or I think it was 12, which is confusing to me because like again I talked about this last time, but like I think there is going to be a reunion and a finale, so that takes care of 2 of those episodes, so that takes us down to 10. But if someone gets eliminated each episode, then that means only 2 people go to the finale, which like is obviously not going to happen. It's going to be at least 3, but I would normally expect 4. But at the end of the next episode, which is episode 8, we'll get down to 4. So what's going to happen? I imagine we'll have a similar at this point, I'm imagining we're going to have a similar situation where somebody is going to be brought back in like episode 9, and that's going to be the whole episode. And then we'll have episode 10 as like, you know, final 5 again, going down to 4, and then, you know, the reunion finale. That would make sense to me, but we'll have to see if that's actually the case. But sticking with what my assumptions were for the season, which is going to be a top 4, I'm going to say Jessica, Jimbo, Candy, and LaLa. that is going to be it for this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you wish. Leave your thoughts, feelings, and opinions down below. If you want to follow me on Twitter, I will leave my Twitter handle down below if you want to go follow me on there. Again, thank you all so much for watching, and as always, take care. Bye-bye.